Welcome to another episode of GydeBites. I am Prasanna, your host. Today we are diving into a sector that's critical to both businesses and consumers, mortgages and lending. From lengthy approval cycles, complex regulations to rising consumer expectations, the lending industry is undergoing a massive transformation. And of course, AI is emerging as a powerful force that's helping lenders make smarter decisions, improve efficiency, and create better consumer experiences. To help us understand what's changing and what's next, I am joined by Navneet Kumar Tyagi, Senior Technology Leader at Finance of America. He has over 15 years of experience in technology leadership. He has led delivery of high performance digital solutions across various sectors such as healthcare, energy, financial services, and more. His expertise spans enterprise modernization, scalable API ecosystem, event-driven architectures, and the use of AI to drive innovation, efficiency, and better consumer experiences. Navneet, welcome to GydeBites. I am great to have you here.
Thank you, Prasanna. It's good to be here. Thank you.
All right. So let's get rolling, Navneet, real quick. What do you think is broken in traditional mortgage and lending that AI is going to fix?
Yeah, let's start with what is actually traditional mortgage lending. So when we think about traditional mortgage lending, it's like it's a big industry, lot of documentation involved. But I don't think there is any issue in the lack of technology. The industry has already invested heavily in technology over the years. The real challenge is that many critical processes are still highly manual. They are document driven and fragmented. They are like distributed to different kind of system, internal system, vendor based system. So they are differently, I would say, fragmented and not like integrated properly. So typical mortgage file contains like hundreds of pages of documents. There are pay stubs, to tax return documents, bank statements, disclosure appraisal, and more. So there are a lot of time which is being spent extracting those information from those documents, validating, comparing, and ensuring the consistency, because that's the main part. The problem is that highly skilled professionals often spend significant a portion of their day doing those repetitive tasks, which can be automated. The focus, instead of focusing on the exceptions, risk assessment, and customer engagement, basically there is this is the place where AI is making a meaningful difference. So AI can rapidly process the unstructured documents. They can identify relevant data points. They flag consistencies, inconsistency, the surface issue that needs human review. Instead of asking the employees to search through hundreds of pages, AI can point directly to the area that requires attention. Another challenge is the number of disconnected systems I already mentioned involved throughout the lending life cycle. Information often exists in multiple platforms and creating duplicate work and delays. So here also AI can help bridge those gaps by bringing relevant information together and provided the required context, which is the main thing here. When we're looking at the whole application, the context is important, that this is why we are doing it, right? What's important is that AI isn't fixing lending by replacing the people. It's fixing lending by reducing the friction. It allows underwriters, processors, and loan officers to spend more time applying the expertise and less time performing the admin work, which is why AI is useful there. A simple way you can think about is the mortgage industry doesn't have an information shortage. There's a lot of information. It has the information overload problem actually. So AI helps to transform that overwhelming amount of information into the actionable insights much faster and more consistently.
Yeah. So you partly mentioned how AI is helping lenders actually, but are there any specific instances where AI is making lenders take more accurate and faster decisions? Where are there instances where there are human errors that are caught by AI and so on and so forth? So the accuracy of lending decision increases.
It's a good question. Definitely, one of the biggest misconception today about AI in lending is that it's making the lending decisions on behalf of the lenders. But that's not actually true. The most successful implementations focus on assisting the decisions rather than replacing them. So AI is not taking the decision; it's helping the lenders to make the decision. So lender operate in very highly regulated environment. So all the decisions must be explainable, auditable, and consistent. Human judgment remains extremely important. What AI actually does exceptionally well is helping the lenders process and analyze large amount of information quite quickly. It can review the documents, identify missing information, compare data across multiple sources, and detect anomalies that may require further investigation. For example, if income figure doesn't align across the documents, or if there are inconsistency in employment history, AI can highlight those issues immediately rather than relying on someone to discover them later in the process. So AI also improves the consistency. Human reviewers naturally vary in experience and interpretation, but AI helps establish a standard first layer of analysis, ensuring that very every file is reviewed against the same criteria. So the result is the faster cycle because the routine tasks are automated, and more accurate review because fewer details are overlooked.
So we talked about how AI is helping underwriters, how it is helping loan officers by making a loan file go through the standard process, flagging any missing pieces, and so on and so forth. How do you think it is AI is improving the other side of the equation, which is like a customer, consumer who is actually seeking loan, who is actually seeking credit, and so on?
Right. So you are right. Customer experience is the one of the most important part in this whole journey of loan life cycle. So from customer perspective, getting the mortgage can sometimes feel complicated. I know because it's a lot of work, lot of time involved, and it sometimes feels slow and confusing. Borrowers often don't fully understand what's happening behind the scenes, and they become frustrated when they are asked for documents multiple times or when their updates are delayed. So what's interesting in that is borrower don't compare their mortgage experience to another lender anymore because they know that every lender is different and they are using different kind of processes. So they compare it to the digital experience, what they face actually on the after they applied the loan, what is happening behind the scene and what kind of updates they are getting. So they do compare those experiences between different models. AI is helping that gap, closing that gap, and at the application stage, AI can guide borrowers through the process, answer questions, and help ensure information is submitted correctly the first time, so that that reduces the friction and improves the confidence. They don't have to wait until later in the cycle to discover something which is not correct at the beginning itself at the application stage. They don't have to wait for that. So while processing, AI can quickly identify missing documentation or inconsistencies. So instead of discovering those issues later, multiple days later, lenders can communicate requirements such as earlier, which keeps the process moving. The most important part is the communication with the customer. So borrowers want transparency. They want to know where and they where are they in the process and what comes next. So AI is helping. There are assistants, AI powered assistants, intelligent workflows that can provide the timely updates and personalized responses without requiring borrowers to wait for business hours.
For super interesting, Navneet. So one thing we all know that lending and mortgages, these are all heavily regulated all across the globe, right? Uh, so how do these businesses, lenders, balance between AI driven speed? Because AI is doing everything very fast. It is summarizing the documents, extracting key infos, and so on and so forth. With the regulatory complexity, because 3 months down the line, if regulator comes and asks why X decision was taken, they have to explain them. So how are lenders balancing these things today?
That's actually a very relevant and important question because this industry is operate under very significant regulatory oversight because there are a lot of processes which is added by regulatory, the compliance and governance that needs to be followed. So everyone wants the faster processes, but speed cannot come at the expense of fairness or transparency or compliance. So all of these are part of the same process. The reality is that responsible AI requires much more than deploying a model. It requires governance, controls, accountability, and monitoring as well. So all of these are part of the same ecosystem. We cannot have just that. We cannot ask for faster processing without following all of these as part of the same life cycle. So I will say one of the key principle is explainability. If an AI assistant recommended influences the lending decision, organization need to understand how that recommendation was generated. Regulators, auditors, and consumers increasingly expect transparency. They need to know what made that decision possible. So, what was the outcome and what was the reason behind that outcome? So, they need that transparency. Next one, I would say bias monitoring. Organization must continuously evaluate your AI systems to ensure the outcomes remain fair and aligned with regulatory expectation. Human oversight remains critical. In my view, the future isn't fully automated decision making, but it's like human centered decision making supported by these AI intelligence systems. But human remains the outcome. They have accountable, they should be accountable for all the outcomes because they are using those AI systems, but AI systems are not actually making the final decision.
I was about to ask you how the future looks. So, although although the things are changing very rapidly these days from the technology perspective, there are new models getting launched. How do you think AI powered lending will look like maybe in next couple of years time frame? And what's what is the biggest bottleneck today?
Yeah, that's a good question. Looking forward in next 3 years, so when we talk about the future of this AI lending, AI powered lending, actually, I think it's important to separate realistic expectation from the hype. There is a lot of hype around AI, right? Everyone wants to use it without actually knowing what is behind it, how to properly use it. So 3 years from now, I don't expect fully automated lending. Lending more, it's involved a complex financial decision, regulatory requirements, and it require all the borrowers have different situations, and every borrower is different. So it definitely require human judgment, but definitely AI assistance workflows will be more streamlined, and they will be used more frequently. I do see a significant increase in intelligent assistance throughout the lending life cycle in future, but we'll see AI co-pilots supporting the loan officers, underwriting, servicer at each layer. They will be supporting and making decision faster. But the final decision that should be human, having human oversights. So I will see enterprise knowledge system become much more powerful. Employees will be able to access policies, regulatory guidance, convergently improving both productivity and consistency. So this will help in making decision faster, but still we'll have all those, because since there are multiple workflows, multiple regulatory requirements, so human oversight will be important. And there will be like organizational change management. Technology adoption is often easier than changing the process. So I would say definitely it will help and make decision faster and help the all the employees of this lending services, and it will also improve the customer experience by sending them more frequent updates and giving them more transparent decisions and all the reasoning behind all those lending credit decisions.
Yeah, I mean, as a consumer, you always want to know why something is happening
Correct.
and how much it will be the ETA and so on. So, I mean, as a consumer, I'm looking forward to that kind of a situation where I'm constantly updated that, okay, this is happening and so on and so forth. Navneet, let's move on to the next segment. We always ask our guests to leave our listeners with one piece of practical advice. What would you like to share with them?
One advice I would say, because there is lot of hype around AI, use of AI in all the businesses. So I would say the main part is start with the problem. What is your business problem, not with the solution, right? So find out what is your business problem, and how can I use. Everyone keep asking how can I we use the AI, but question should be what are the problem we are trying to solve. So most successful AI initiatives I have seen are focused on reducing the cycle time, improving the experience of the customer, operational efficiency, and how their employees are making better decisions. So yeah, don't look for places to apply AI anywhere. Just look for the problems which are actually worth solving.
So for the audiences, look for the problems, don't look for the solutions. So
Correct.
that's the advice Navneet is giving us. Navneet, before we wrap up, there is a short rapid fire round. So just share first thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready? Should we go?
Yep. Go ahead.
All right. So one thing that is broken in lending that only AI can fix.
Manual review of the unstructured documents at scale.
One AI capability every leader should be investing in today.
Document intelligence.
One customer frustration that AI will eliminate.
Repeated request of the same information.
One prediction about mortgage lending that most people aren't talking about.
Rise of AI copilots for every lending role.
One lending decision humans should never fully hand over to AI.
Final credit decision.
Yes, fantastic. Navneet, thank you so much for sharing your responses, for the questions, for the rapid fire, for the advice, and so much. It brought a really new perspective to how we are looking at from the lending perspective and so on. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right, and to everyone who is listening, if you find this discussion valuable, helpful, share this episode with your colleagues and your network. I will see you in the next episode. Thank you.